My name is Raymond Spencer. This is a reading of a synopsis for Time and Time Again. Time and Time Again is a weekly television series. The story surrounds a black man from the year 1886 who is mysteriously transported to Newark, New Jersey in the year 2016. The man's name is George. George, in 1886, during a thunderstorm, was running from a white lynch mob. The lynch mob wanted to teach him a lesson for trying to register to vote as a black man. He was sure he would be killed. While running through a swamp, George is overcome with fatigue as he stumbles through the murky water. He falls down and goes under the water and the leaves. While under the water, George struggles to break free of the contents of the swamp. Above him, he can see the lightning flashing in the sky above. Then, just as the mob reaches the edge of the water that George was trapped in, the lightning bolt struck a tree in the swamp and electrified the water that George was submerged in. Meanwhile, in the year 2016, as we flash forward, in Newark, New Jersey, it's raining. On Orange and 14th Street, a car turns the corner. Driving home from work, we see Marty and Easy, two college professors. They are hoping they can get home in time before the rain comes down any harder. They are headed to the teachers' village that they reside in on the north side. Lightning comes down and strikes a huge puddle of dirty water that has accumulated at the base of the footbridge. The men stop their car. When Marty and Easy reach the corner, another bolt of lightning hits the puddle of water. But this time, the lightning caused the street lights to go off when the small transformer on the light pole blew up. The men covered their eyes. When the two men look up, they see the sparking transformer and they hear groaning noises from the direction of the footbridge. Marty says, "Someone's on the ground over there." Easy says, "Oh shit, you're right." Marty says, "We should call an ambulance." Easy pulls out his cell phone, but it's not working. Marty tries his phone, and it's not working. Marty says, "We gotta do something. He looks hurt. Let's put him in the van and take him to Rutgers Medical Center." "Should we move him?" Easy says, "We have to do something for the brother." Marty says, "You're right." Easy says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Marty says, "Yes, I am." The two men slap five and laugh. They pick George up and place him in the van. Once in the van, they head towards the hospital. As they drive, George wakes up. He looks around and doesn't know where he is. He thinks back to his last memory. George flashes back to the swamp when the white men and the nigger killing dogs were chasing him through the swamp. Afraid for his life, George runs on until he falls in the water, and that's the last thing he remembers. In the flashback, the lightning strikes again in 1886, and at the same time, the lightning flashes in the year 2016. George is startled. He becomes afraid and wants to run before the white men and the deadly nigger-hating dogs find him. He tries to get out of the van as Easy drives towards the hospital. He strikes Martin in the head and begins to choke Easy while Easy is driving. He is also talking incoherently. George says, "Lord knows I was afraid of them white men's, but I'll kill any Uncle Tom working with the white man, trying to stop black folks from getting the vote." Martin says, "What the fuck?" as he grabs his face. Martin recovers, jumps in the back of the van and begins tussling with George. George releases Easy and the two men fall into the back of the van as Easy gets the van to the side of the road. George is choking Martin. Easy jumps in the back of the van to help Martin. The two men hold George down as the van rocks side to side from the movement inside. Martin says, "This nigga strong as shit." Easy says, "Like a fucking mule." George is on the floor struggling. George says, "Oh Lord, I was trapped. Don't let the dogs get me. What happened to the swamp? Please don't let the man stealers take me. What kind of Uncle Toms is you two going against other blacks? Don't you want us to get the freedom vote? Huh? Huh?" Easy says, "Man, we trying to help you." Marty says, "We could have left your ass in the swamp." George looks at Marty and says, "You was in the swamp too?" Marty says, "What swamp, man?" Easy checks his throat. George says, "The lemon swamp. Right here in Charleston, South Carolina. You know, by the projects, where all the Negroes live, sharecropping on old man Williams' plantation." "I see you niggas ain't from round here with your fancy clothes." Martin and Easy look at George in amazement. They cannot believe the way he talks like a slave, and he thinks he's in South Carolina. They exchange glances as they listen. Some of what he says sounds like actual history from their classrooms. Easy says, "The lemon swamp." Marty says, "Charleston, South Carolina." Marty says, George. Easy says, "That's a book by Mamie Garvin Fields." Marty says, "George, this is Newark, New Jersey." George says, I say, "Huh? No, this here be South Carolina." Easy said, "The lemon swamp is in South Carolina." George said, "You see there? Your friend, he got the right mind. This here be South Carolina." No, George. This is Newark, New Jersey. But the lemon swamp, you right about that. That is in South Carolina." George becomes confused and nervous again. Marty says, George, look at me, George." George looks at Marty, and Marty says, "Look around. George, does this look familiar to you? Before you woke up in the back here, what was the last thing you remember?" George takes the two professors back in time as he recalls the lynch mob chasing him into the swamp. "Well, the last thing I remember is it was a thunderstorm like tonight. I was running from the white lynch mob. They want to teach me a lesson for attempting to register to vote. I just know they would kill me. But black folk just want to be treated citizens like everybody else. You know, white folks been killing black folks for trying to register for the freedom vote. Whilst I running from the mob, I cut them off. I think I can lose them in there. It was lightning and thunder. Then I lost my breath and I fell down. I was so scared. And then that lightning hit one more again and